Anansi The Hungry Spider, a stick figure story by K. Ryan Henisey. Once, not so long ago, and not so far away, there lived a very clever spider named Anansi. Now Anansi was also very greedy, and he didn't like to share anything, whether it be a story or his favorite foods. One day, after Anansi had just finished cooking a wonderful meal, Turtle happened to be walking by. Smelling the aroma of Anansi's meal, Turtle quickly knocked at the door, hoping for a little hospitality from his friend. Who could that be? Anansi thought at the knock and went to the door to see. And there, when he opened it, he was filled with disappointment, for he knew that Turtle was quite a voracious eater, and he did not want to share any of his meal. "Why, Turtle," he said, my friend, you've come just in time for the meal. How nice to see you." "Ah, Anansi, how wonderful. It's such a long walk back home, and I was hoping that you would offer me a little bite to eat on my way." Of course, my friend," said Anansi. But in his heart, Anansi did not want to share his dinner. So he looked up, and he looked left, and he looked right, and then he looked down, and he saw there on Turtle's feet a little bit of dirt and a little bit of mud, and it gave him an idea. "Why, Turtle," he said, please do come in, but oh, your feet are a little dirty, and it is customary in this part of the forest to never enter into a home unless your feet have been washed. Go on down to the river, go on now, and then come back. We'll eat afterwards." So Turtle did as he was told, and he went all the way down to the river, and he washed his feet, and he went all the way back, and he knocked at the door, and Spider answered it. But once he sat Turtle down, there was no food left, for he had quickly eaten it all, while Turtle had been away. Many weeks later, Anansi was traveling back home, and he happened to be passing by the pond, and he thought to himself, "Why, I should stop in and see my friend Turtle, and he is a very good cook and a wonderful eater. I'm sure he'll have some delicious food for me. You can always count on the hospitality of friends." And so Anansi approached the pond and called out, "Turtle, Turtle, are you there?" And Turtle bobbed his head out of the water and cried, "Anansi, Anansi, my friend, how wonderful to see you. Please come and join me. I've just finished baking my meal." But in his heart, Turtle had remembered how Anansi had treated him, and so he was keen to play a trick on the spider himself. Turtle quickly went down into the water to his dwelling at the bottom of the pond, and he called up, "Anansi, Anansi, come join me." But Anansi is a small little spider, and spiders are not heavy enough to break the surface of the water, and try as he might, Anansi could not get under the water. He pushed and he pulled and he tried to separate the water, but he just couldn't dive under. He was having the worst luck. Finally, he thought of an idea. "Well, what if I fill my coat with some stones?" And so he went to the shore, and Anansi filled up his pockets with stones until they were quite heavy, and then he walked out into the pond, and yes, he was sinking. Oh, how wonderful! And he sank all the way down to the bottom, where Turtle had eaten almost all of the meal. "Oh, Turtle, Turtle, I've made it!" "Wonderful, wonderful!" cried out Turtle. But then his eyes opened wide, and he said, "Don't you know it is customary in the pond not to wear your jacket to the dinner table?" And so Anansi, with a great heartfelt sigh, undid the buttons of his jacket, and immediately floated to the surface of the pond, where he could only watch as Turtle ate the rest of his meal. It is said that one good turn deserves another. The end. Be sure to visit kryanhennessy.com for more of my art, for more of my stories, and be sure to download Sleepy Safari for free to your iPad or other devices. Look for my other books as well.